shadow in the government's game. Pawn as a child with no face and no name. They stole my past to leave me cold and alone. Always searching for a place I could call home. I was lost in the dark, just a tool in the hand, till she pulled me close and helped me understand. Now the fire inside is starting to rise. I can see the truth through 1,000 lies. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hellhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. In the dead of the night, I can hear the call. All the ghosts of my past scratching through the wall. My eyes change colors, the power has grown. With Crowley the hound, I'm never alone. I used to be hollow, a man made of glass, but now I am reclaiming every year that has passed. Every memory is falling right back into place. I know every name and I remember every face. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hell on beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I ain't running no more, yeah, I'm ready to fight. Gonna settle that debt in the depth of the night. They tried to break me, they tried to erase, but they can't hide the blood from the scars on my face. The veil is thin and the engine is hot. I'm taking back everything that they thought I forgot. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a tailhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I remember it all now. Every single face, I'm calling for you in the dead of the night.
Hello, everybody. My name's Henry, for those of you that don't know. For those that you do, welcome back. Tonight, I'm going to tell another ghost story. And it was a time when me and two other boys was coon hunting. I was 17 at the time, and my two friends, one was 16 and the other one was 15. The one that was 16 had just turned 16, so we were going out on a hunt. Well, we were down there on Mud Duck Road. That's what we nicknamed it, because it had big old pools of mud and water. Mind you, an old muddy pond someplace on that old road. Well, we had left home that night, went into town, stopped at a place called Willie's Imperial. It was just a small gas station. Of course, now it's a lot bigger gas station. Now it's called Moto Mart, but back then it's called Willie's Imperial. Willie was a good guy. He was a great big tall Amazon-looking guy, snow white hair, but he was a good gentle old man. My grandpa knew him, and I got to know him, and Willie, he liked to tell fish stories and coon stories, even though he didn't hunt fish anymore. But we stopped in there and got us some sodas and had this new coon dog I was wanting to try out, and he'd been pretty good so far, but I decided that we'd take him out again. Well, we got stocked up on snacks and sodas, and we headed on east of town out there, and out there to Mud Duck Road. It's probably about 3 or 4 miles outside of town, and I was hoping that I'd turn the dog loose and he'd keep on going east and not head in toward town and disturb everybody. Well, we pulled off on a side road and found a good place to park in an old farmer's field road there. Luckily that year they had planted corn, so I figured that'd be a good place. They should pick up a couple coons in there. Well, I opened the door and Bobby Dean started laughing, and I let my coon dog out, and he let his old dog out, and across that field they took off. We sitting there on the tailgate, had the camper door open, sitting there shooting the shit. Well, them dogs hit a hot one. They headed straight toward that big thicket. So I told them, I said, we'll shut the tailgate and close the camper door and drive over that way, less walking. Well, it was only about 50, 55 that night, so it wasn't too bad. I still had my big coat just in case temperature dropped bottom. Had my old duck brown coveralls on and rubber boots. 'Cause it was a little muddy, but not bad. Well, we drove over there by Benedict Road and parked over there and listened, and the dogs were down at the bottom of the hill. Well, I told them boys, I said, probably that old Ghost Coon. But these boys, they listened to every word I said. I said, yeah, there's been a lot of coon hunters try to get this old boy, and I said, I've had a run-in or two with him, and I said, he go off down in that creek bottom, and he go through this hollow log. It goes into the bank on the creek there, and it goes right into a hole, and it goes up inside this tree. And that coon go up that tree and bail out, and he'll make a circle and come right back to that log. And then he'll go up in that tree, and he'll go up in the top and sit up there in a fork. And you can't see him, just catch glimpses of his eyes once in a while. I said, pretty crafty old boy. I said, he's so old, he's silver looking. He a big old coon. He probably about a 40, 50-pound coon. I said, I ain't on bagging that sumbitch tonight because that's about 50, 60 bucks. And I could use the spending cash. They was like, what would you use the money for? That's why I put some gas in the truck. Might have a hot date, providing things work out. I said, but first I gotta bag this old coon. I said, I've been after him a while. I said, he all the time skunking me. I said, but I've watched him long enough. I've got him figured out. I'm gonna beat him back to that tree. Tonight is his night. I'm gonna get him. Well, sure enough, that coon headed across that field toward that little creek, headed for that old dead hollowed out tree that was laid over, and he'd go in slightly into the dirt bank there. He kind of dug that out and then go up in that tree and jump out. Well, he did his normal run. He took off across that damn field, headed for that hollowed tree, went through the dugout spot he had, and up in that tree he went. Well, it spoofed them dogs for a little bit, but I'd seen him jump out of that tree into another tree and go down. So I finally got them dogs to go over there and check that other tree, and then they picked up his trail. So I told them guys, I say, hey, you guys go back to the truck, wait there. I'm going to get this crafty ass because he's going to make a circle and come right back here and do the same thing again. Well, sure enough, them dogs go out there in that cornfield, make a big giant loop. Well, I hear the old boy coming. I could hear him barreling through the cornfield into a little bit of brush there, and the only was, I didn't get to the hole fast enough, and he got back in the hole again. Went back in that hollow part of the tree. He made his normal run right through the tree, into the edge of the bank, through that dugout, and right up inside the hollow part of that tree. He go up the tree. I heard him jump into the next tree and then come down that tree and take off again. I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. This time I got smart. I went up there to where that dead tree was laying across that little creek thing. I took my heavy coat off and stuffed it down that hole. I thought, you son of a bitch, I'm going to trap you this time. There ain't no getting away. I packed that coat down there, tight as I could get it. He's out there trying to lose them dogs in that cornfield. He's pretty crafty. He'd run along on top of them stalks. Then he'd find a pile of stalks and he'd go into them. But them dogs reached there and tried to get him. He'd slap the hell out of them dogs, bite them on the ears. And while they was shaking that off, licking their wounds, he'd take off again. Here he come. I was ready for him this time. I squatted down there in the weeds, and I could hear him. Here he come, right through the cornfield, through the weeds. I wasn't about 10 foot from that hole. That crazy fool was going to try to get me again. He went in the hole, and I listened. I hear something else coming. Damn, there's going to be two. All right. That's going to be a big chunk of change. In the hole this thing goes. Well, once I heard it go in the hole, behind the old Ghost Coon, I run up there. I turn my headlamp on, and I'm listening. I shine my light in there, and I can see that stripe of tail up there. So I turn my light down on dim and sit there for a few minutes, wait for the dogs to catch up. That way the zombies didn't climb over me on accident and take off full of them dogs. Well, I got tired of waiting. So I hired that two boys, and I said, hey, catch them dogs and bring them over here. I got him, he's here in this hole. I stuffed my coat in the other end. He can't go nowhere unless he comes out, and I'm going to shoot the son of a bitch who comes out. But they caught the dogs and bring them over there, and they got them on lead holding them. Well, them dogs, they could smell it. Well, now I got a dilemma. The dogs can't get in there. It's just barely big enough for me to get in there. Okay, problem solved. I'm going to take my headlamp off. I'll get my arms ahead of me, and I'm going to go in that log and climb up there, and I'm going to use my .22 pistol, shoot that son of a bitch. That first shot was going to have to count, because if not, he was going to be mad as hell, and he was going to take all that anger out on me. Now, I was just hoping that I didn't wound him, and he really get mad and chew the hell out of my coat at the other end, or I didn't shoot a hole in my coat. But nevertheless, it was going to be worth it, because I seen him go in there, then I heard another one go in behind him. I got two of them in there. So I told him, I said, you hold the dogs, and if I tell you to turn them dogs loose, you turn them loose, because that means that I just wounded him, and if somebody's got past me, he's coming back out that hole. Well, you ever heard of one of those hold your beer moments, them stupid moments, that stupid human tricks? This was one of the biggest ones I'd ever made. I got down there, And like I said, there wasn't very much room, but I shimmied in there. It was all I could do to get in there, and I had my hands above me, my pistol in one hand, and a small flashlight in another. I'm shimmying in there, cussing the whole time. Well, this hole gets smaller and smaller as it goes up. And I'm just hoping I can get in there far enough to do the job and drag them back out with me. If not, I was going to have to go back to the truck, and I always kept a 10-foot piece of barbed wire in there. And the reason for that is if you shot a coon in a den, you could take and shove that baling wire up there and twist it and crank it a few times. It'll get caught on that coon hide, and you could drag him out to you. Yeah, it's stuff you pick up coon hunting. Well, I'm shimmying up in this hole. And I'm listening, and I'd shimmy some more, and I'd listen, and I could hear that old boy up ahead of me about 6-7 foot. He was mad. I had blocked his hole, and he knew he was cornered. Oh boy, you ain't skunking me tonight. You got me several times and a lot of other people, but tonight, your ass is mine. So I take that little light and I shine up there. Well, it's so dark in there and this light is so damn dim, all I could see was a pair of eyes periodically stare back at me. So I'm thinking, okay, he's up there, and luckily he's facing away from me, so he's going to have a hell of a hard time turning around. Well, I couldn't see my coat on the other side of him. Well, you got to understand these two boys with me. They was funny as hell. I could hear them out there muffled, but I could hear them out there laughing and egging the dogs on. I shine my light and it's not very bright. Well, it's either now or never. If I hear him coming toward me, the best thing I can do is close my fist and put it up around my head, because my arms is already up and I can't pull them down to my waist because there ain't enough room. There ain't no place for me to go. So I'm going to at least try to protect my face. Well, all I could see was a big dark spot, and periodically the eye trying to look at me. Well, that night, fate was not on my side. Lady Luck done took off. The only thing riding shotgun with me inside that log was Mr. Murphy of Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong, will. I shined there, and I'm getting ready because I'm wondering what's going to happen. Am I going to just graze him and he's going to be pissed off, come at me, and I'm going to have to fight him? That ain't going to be good. So I shine the light up in there, and sure enough, I see that one eye peeking. Now I got to make a choice. Is that his left eye or right eye? So I know where to put that bead on him. Well, I pulled up and decided, well, now or never. I pulled the safety off. I pulled the knot back on that rifle. And I thought about praying. I thought, well, hell, I ain't holy. What the hell am I talking about? I'll probably get struck by lightning too, so I better not do that. I put my finger on the trigger, and I was guessing where I seen that eye. And just that time, I seen that eye shine. So I aimed just a hair to the left. I pulled that trigger. Jesus Christ. it wouldn't have been any louder than if I'd had my head in the Civil War right up on a cannon. It went off. My God, all I could hear was bzzz. My ears just ringing. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't even hear that coon. Well, I could feel the vibration in that log, so I knew he was either dying or he was pissed off. So I dropped the gun, put my hands up, had my leather gloves on, and yeah, he could bite, but not near as bad on my bare fingers with those leather gloves on. But it would still hurt like hell. So while he was chewing, I was going to have to grab him by the throat or wherever I could grab him and try to get him out of the hole with me, not let him get over my face. I'm already ugly enough. Well, I listened and I could hear it sound like a goddamn fight. Well, he's hurt. So I decided that I'd bring that boat back and push it back up, get the gun ready. Well, I made the fatal mistake of turning that light on. I turned the light on. What I see at the end of that log scared the hell out of me. When I turned that light on, I seen a big black ass up there and a big bushy tail. It had 2 white stripes come down all the way down that back and on that tail. And the next thing I seen was a skunk's ass. Before I could fire that bolt action .22 rifle one time, that coon must have bit that skunk, 'cause that sumbitch raised its tail and it fired both barrels. And let me tell you, I was like, oh shit! And by the time I said shit, that son of a bitch pissed. Pissed in my eyes, on my head, and in my mouth. Dude, I was gagging, spitting. Now I can't see. And not only that, I'm stinking like skunk piss. And I'm spitting and a cussing, trying to get my breath, gagging. I can't see shit. So I'm trying to shimmy backwards to come out of that hole, 'cause I done got shot with both barrels of that skunk's ass. That sumbitch shot and hit me. And here I am with the light. And I'm shining the light at that sumbitch, and he hit me with both barrels of his ass. I mean, right square in the mouth, up the nose, in the eyes. I can't see. I can't taste nothing. I can't smell nothing except for skunk ass. And I'm coming out of there because I'm wondering which one of those two did I shoot. Was it the coon or the skunk? Whichever one didn't get shot is going to be a mad son of a bitch going to come out of there chewing on my ass, and I can't see for shit. Now I can't hear nothing because that goddamn gun sounds like a cannon going off inside that damn log. So I'm shimmying backwards, trying to get the hell out of there, squirming like a worm that landed on a hot plate. Them 2 boys out there, what the hell's wrong? And about all of a sudden, there must have been a little bit of an air pocket. Because I was slightly, trying to get out of there. And some of that wind coming from me trying to fight get out of that log, along with that skunk smell, started coming out the end of that log. Well, them 2 boys is out there laughing. God damn their souls anyway. Out there laughing. And the stink was so bad. Them dogs backed away from the entrance of that hole because they figured there was something there that really smelled bad, and it was me. The dogs didn't even want to fight it at first, but I had wiggled back and got my feet right to the end of that log. I only had about 4 more foot to go, and I was going to be out. Them boys got to laughing so damn hard, a gagging and a puking, their eyes watering, their noses a snotting, that they turned them dogs loose. For all them dogs knew, I was a skunk coming out of that thing backwards. Them dogs tore into my ass. They ripped my rubber boots off my feet, chewed and gnawed them son of a bitches, then grabbed me by my coveralls, and all I'm in is my sock feet. So I'm trying to get out of there, and these dogs are gnawing at me. They're after me like a damn dog after a bone. They ripped my coveralls all to pieces. Periodically, I'd get a bite in the leg, a bite in the ass. Well, between the dogs and me shimmying, I hadn't realized that skunk was following me backwards out, squirting me the whole time. When I finally got out of that hole, them dogs, I don't know if it was the smell or the sight of some retard that went up inside of a log after a skunk but come out with a damn skunk and a coon. Them dogs was growling, they was slobbering at the mouth at me, digging at the ground, but they didn't want to attack because they didn't want that stink on them. So I told them boys, I said, get them damn dogs on lead, go take and put them both in one dog box together. Well, I'm trying to look around, my eyes are blurry. Well, William grabbed a gun, and that coon come out. He shot the coon. The skunk was dead in there. We didn't want him. Leave him inside a damn log. And my coat is still in there. So I figured with the stinking stuff, that coat wasn't going to be worth a shit anyway. Might as well just leave the damn thing there. Because there ain't no way you're going to get the smell out of that thing. Well, they threw the coon, because it was dead. They throwed it in the floorboard of the truck. I said, well, you guys ready? And I couldn't smell nothing. They was like, man, you surely ain't gonna ride in the cab of the truck. That's what's my goddamn truck. They was like, why don't one of us drive? I said, dude, I can't smell nothing. I can't hardly see. And I really can't taste nothing, but I know I got cotton mouth, I think. You're going to have to drive. I'll sit in the back of the truck in the camper. I said, you did lock that dog box. If them dogs smell that, they'll come after me. My own damn dog. Goddamn traitor. So I told them, I said, I'm going to open the sliding glass window. And they said, we ain't opened the sliding glass window of the back of the truck. You stink, dude. You smell like skunk piss. That's why I don't know. I can't smell nothing. I can't even see nothing. Here's some money. Here's my billfold. On the way back through town, go to Willie's Imperial and get me a great big bottle of soda. Cold. And get you guys one. And I said, then go south of town down there to Shop and Save. For God's sakes, don't park close to anybody. Park away from all the vehicles. And take the rest of that money. There's over $100 in my billfold. Take a shopping cart and go in there, and they have tomato juice in gallon jugs. Get 10 of them. The only way I'm going to get this stink off is I'm going to have to wash in tomato juice. Well, them guys were just busting a gut. I didn't think it was funny because I couldn't see, smell, or taste nothing. Everything was blurry. There was a god-awful taste in my mouth. So, we go to Willie's Apparel, and I told them to keep the damn mouth shut. Now, my coveralls are chewed up, My pants are chewed up. So from the knee down, it's all chewed up. My rubber boots had holes in them, so I'm sitting back there in my coveralls, what's left of them, and my sock feet, trying not to freeze to death. Because they won't open the damn window to let some of that heat come back to where I'm at. So I'm back there at the mercy of the back of the truck and them damn dogs that was trying to get out of that box to get a hold of my ass. So we pull into Willie's Imperial, and I can hear that old rubber hose as it makes that dinging sound. You know, the first tire goes over, ding, second tire goes, ding. Now, instead of these boys parking out there by the air thing where you fill up your tire of air, they pull right up in front of the front door. Well, Willie hears that ding ding, and he comes running out the door, and I can hear him, "God damn, boys, y'all hit a skunk?" They was laughing their ass off as they got out, and they was like, "No, skunk boy's in the back of the truck with the dogs, and the dogs want to eat him." Well, I hear that damn camper door open, and there was Willie holding his nose. "God damn, skunk boy, what you doing?" I think I got sprayed by a goddamn skunk, but we got the damn coon. He goes, "God damn, you stink." "No shit. I can't even see you, Willie, you old white-headed fool." He's a-laughing. Everybody in the goddamn parking lot walking past truck, I could hear 'em, but I couldn't see 'em. Whoo! Somebody hit a skunk. No, the skunk hit me. Well, everybody's getting a good laugh, and I'm back there embarrassed as hell. Them boys come out there and raise the back glass up on the camper. "Here, skunk boy." Having my cold soda. And they was telling Willie about this big-ass coon we got. We got the old Ghost Coon. Willie said, "Yeah, it's been years." He said, "Everybody been trying to get him. Nobody could ever bag him." They said, "Old skunk boy back there watched him long enough, figured out his routine. He got the skunk, or the coon." Willie goes, "Yeah, and he got the skunk too. God damn, he smells." So they open up the door and gonna show Willie our prized possession, the old Ghost Coon. Well, now you gotta understand, Bobby Dean we called him Pollock, because he's always doing something stupid, making us boys laugh. That's why we ever took him along. He was always good for a good time. Well, old Pollock, he's telling Willie, he said, "Yeah, it's a damn shame. That coon was a legend. And Skunk Boy killed him. Went up in a log after him and got skunked and got the coon too." He said, "Damn shame. We're going to have to find us another old crafty coon like that to hunt." Many men tried, but old Skunk Boy there got skunked and cooned at the same time. They having a good laugh. Willie said, "Hey, open the door on that there truck. Let me see that big old coon. I got a picture of him. I will get my camera." He goes in there and gets an instant Polaroid camera that he always kept in there. In case a fancy car come through, he'd get a picture of it. At his pump, of course. He put it up there on the poster board, so people come in there and say, "Wow, man, where'd that big old fancy car come from?" "Oh, I got that the other night." So Willie comes out there with his camera. He's going to get a picture of that coon. I tell you, "Willie, how about getting a picture of me and that coon together?" And he goes, "No, you smell too bad. You just stay in the back of that truck. It's bad enough you in that truck. Can't imagine you get out of there, run all my customers off." "Okay." I said, "You make sure that you put on there who got that coon." "I will, Skunk Boy, be quiet." They opened up the door on that truck, and lo and behold, that coon stood up on its hind legs, and he was mad. Before they get that door shut, that damn coon took off running. Well, he went across the highway, across Highway 16, there to Casey's. From there, he turned into the alley, and this old woman was coming out of the laundromat, and that damn coon made a turn right into the laundromat. Now, there was 2 doors at the laundromat, and that place was packed. There was clothes flying. The coon was a snapping and a growling. People was throwing stuff at it. Well, it just confused that coon. And I was like, I ain't letting that coon go. I opened up the door on the dog boxes. Well, them dogs heard the commotion and luckily went on by me instead of stopping to eat my ass off, out the back of the truck, through the parking lot there at Willie's, across the highway, through Huck's and Casey's there, in between FS and back to the laundromat, and the door was still open, and them dogs went in there, and there was one hell of a fight in there. Now, I can't see shit. And I'm telling them boys, hey, go in there in the laundromat and kill that coon with a couple of them chairs. If we shoot a gun in town, we're all going to jail. Well, they didn't like the idea, but that was a lot of money. Just took off running through there. And they let him out, not me. I thought he was dead. Must have been the skunk I shot. That's why he pissed on me. Well, they went over there, and sure enough, there the coon was. He had went up on one of them hangers there by the dry cleaners, and he pushed one of them tiles in the ceiling open. And them dogs was running, barking their full head off at this thing running on those ceiling tiles, and the ceiling tiles was breaking. Well, I couldn't see. All I could see was kind of red and blue blur lights. And here come the sirens. Well, them boys was in there with 2 chairs trying to knock this coon out of the ceiling, and it's breaking shit, and them dogs are going crazy. People's running out hollering. The cops come to Willie's Imperial. Willie pointed them over to the laundromat. So they made a beeline to there. Well, here come the police chief. He pulls into Willie and he goes, God damn, what's that smell? Willie said, skunk boy in the back of the truck. What the hell's the commotion? It's the skunk boy and his 2 cohorts. They got the old Ghost Coon tonight. The only thing was, I think he shot the skunk and it pissed on him. That's what that stink is. He's in the back of the truck. That's what you're smelling. He got sprayed. That coon probably decided to play dead, and they picked him up, put him in the truck, and they was going to take a picture of him with this Polaroid camera. They opened the door, and that coon was pissed off. He come out of there on 2 back feet, went tearing across there. Skunk boy turned the damn dogs loose. The dogs took in after him. They were over there in the laundromat having a hell of a fight. He goes, well, thank God it ain't on the inside. He says, my wife's over there doing laundry. Well, he starts laughing. He goes, your wife's over there? Yeah, he said, I told her to leave some of my dry cleaning there and just go ahead and do the rest of the laundry. And he goes, well, she's in the middle of the scrap then. But they got over there. That place is tore to hell on the inside. I'm still in the back of the truck. Nobody's asking me shit. I can't see, I can't smell, I can't taste nothing. Well, I hear the boys coming, bringing the dogs. Here comes a whole line of cops with them. I could hear them. I couldn't see them, but I could hear them. Well, they're standing on the side of the truck, and I hear a knock on the camper. Yeah? They say, Skunk Boy. Y'all created quite a scene tonight. Stirred a lot of people. Yeah, I reckon so. That's whatever the damages is. I'll pay it. These boys ain't got nothing to do with it. It's my stupid idea to turn the dogs loose. It was their stupid idea to open the truck door. But I thought for sure we killed that damn coon. I said, do I need to get out and fill anything? No. You just stay in the back of the truck. I said, well, am I going to jail? They's like, bad as you smell, we wouldn't even take you to a dog fight. I was like, phew, dodged that bullet. They said, but as soon as you quit reeking of coon piss and skunk piss, you're going to have to make things right. I said, I promise. As soon as I can get some damn tomato juice and get a bathtub where I can see, I'll make things right. I said, do I need to go to court? And they said, Judge won't even want to see you smelling like you are. We'll talk to the judge for you. Okay, thanks. Well, then the cop proceeded to ask, if it's my truck, I'm in the back sprayed with skunk piss, who's driving my truck? I said, William is. Pollock, he ain't got his license yet. So the cop took down his information, and I thought that would be the end of it, and then I would just come in and pay for damages. Oh no. They have to get on the radio and call this in. Well, my uncle had a police scanner. And his big mouth had to tell his wife, and here they come up there to Willie's Imperial, where I'm up there stinking like skunk piss. They roll in that old Thunder Chicken, and I could hear him laughing when he got out of that car. He's laughing his ass off. He thought that was funny as hell. I stunk like skunk piss. Tore the piss out of the laundromat with the dogs and the coon, and I was still in the back of the truck smelling like skunk piss. Well, he was laughing. My aunt was laughing. They said, is he going to jail? And that cop looked at him and goes, as bad as he stinks like skunk piss? No way we take him to our jail. But he better make things right, because after he gets to smelling better, he better take care of this, or he will sit in our jail when he smells better. Well, by now, everybody in fucking town knows. Skunk Boy got skunked and he's in the back of the truck smelling like skunk piss. And he's got to go to shop and save, and those two boys got to run in and get some tomato juice to wash my dirty skunk ass. Well, instead of them just going there with a shopping cart and getting tomato juice, the few people that may not have known, they're in there telling. I think everybody and their fucking brother heard and went to shop and save to see the skunk boy. There was people gathered around the truck. All I could see is blur. People gathered around the truck, knock on the window. Hey, skunk boy, you get sprayed lately? Kiss my ass. And then two boys, William and Pollock, is laughing. That's you little bastards. I will get you for this. Just so you know, payback is a bitch. I said, did you bring me at least a Mountain Dew? They's like, you wouldn't be able to taste it anywhere. We could pee in the bottle and give it to you and you probably drink it. I said, go get me a goddamn Mountain Dew. So all these people are laughing. I opened the damn window up, and the whole crowd starts backing up. I mean, the smell was coming out of there because it was choking me to death. I couldn't even smell the truck fumes coming from the truck. That's how bad it stunk. I filled half of the county up with skunk piss, the smell. Every place we went past, all the neighbor dogs start howling and barking. I'm just glad we was going down the road because if I'd been walking, every one of them dogs would have been biting and a pissing on me. I'd have really been mad. Well, we go back to William's house. We decide that we're going to go out in the shed and get a big wash tub. I was going to have to burn my clothes. And I was going to have to wash in this tomato juice until that stink decided to just waste away into the tomato juice. Tomato juice is the only thing that killed that smell. So if you ever get sprayed like I did, tomato juice. You keep washing in it, your hair, everything. It won't help you with the seeing or smelling or tasting, but it'll get the stink off of you. So I'm in there. I don't like the cold and I don't like cold water. But I decided to do what it took to get away from that stink. It was gagging me. I'm in there washing with tomato juice. Meantime, these two boys takes my clothes out there to the burn pit, throw my clothes in the old incinerator deal, and burning my clothes. William's dad come out of the house and he goes, God damn, what the hell's that smell? Skunk boy's in there in the shed in a big old tub. He got sprayed by a skunk. Here he comes in the shed. Then comes his wife in the shed. And I'm trying to cover up. But I can't hardly see, but I could hear them laughing. Next thing you know, his brother come over and his wife. The neighbor come over because they heard a commotion over there. And everybody's standing around while skunk boy is naked inside this damn tub with tomato juice. They was all having a good time at my expense. Well, after soaking in that tomato juice for about 2 hours and washing every crack and crevice there was, the skunk smell was gone. I still couldn't taste nothing, couldn't hardly see anything, and I couldn't smell nothing. But at least the stink was gone. I was tolerable. Well, then it dawned on me, they took my clothes and went and burned them. So to add a little insult to injury, knowing that I can't see with the shit, William's mom brings out an old house coat that she was getting ready to pitch and a pair of slippers. Well, I was glad to just get something on me because I was cold. Well, I didn't know, and everybody's still laughing. I didn't know the slippers was pink, and so wasn't that damn robe. But I didn't care. I was cold. So we're in the house, sat there at the kitchen table, and they had this little dog. They called him Odie. Now, me and that little dog was like that. You know, when I went in the house, that little dog took one sniff and hauled ass into the living room and then went upstairs. He didn't even know who I was because I didn't smell like my normal self. I smelled like tomato juice and probably a tinge of skunk piss. Well, several days had passed and I went in there You know they charged me $500 for them damn ceiling tile and some of the clothes that got wrecked in there? Well, I go up into the courthouse. I knew that old judge, and he was one of them old hanging judges. He didn't put up with no bullshit. Well, he called my name, the state attorney did, so I walk in there, and he's sitting there trying not to laugh. And I'm thinking, oh man, he's gonna throw the book at my ass. He pulled them glasses down, peeked over the top of them, and he goes, "Skunk boy, how you doing?" I said, "A lot better now, Your Honor." I said, "What's the damage?" He goes, "Well, since you did have to suffer with the fight with the skunk, but you did get the coon. Even though that kind of tore things up, they decided to let you off with $500. If you can't pay it all at one time, you can pay payments. Through the courthouse, of course. We got to get our money. I'll pay it off in one lump sum. So I'll run to the bank and I'll be back." He goes, "I just got one question for you. What'd you do with the skunk hide?" I said, "I left that son of a bitch in the hole." He started laughing, and I said, "Is that all, Your Honor?" "Yeah." So I turned around to walk out, and he goes, "One last thing." And I started trying to, "Yeah, what?" And he goes, "Hey, looks like you got 2 white stripes on your back." Well, now that was a judge, and he had that robe on. But what I was thinking was, he could kiss my ass. That wasn't funny. I done paid that debt. I went to the bank, got the money, had to pay it there at the circuit clerk's office, and every son of a bitch I passed, "Hey, skunk boy." It took a long time for skunk boy, that name, to just fade into the wind like the smell of that skunk. So, a little word of advice. Don't grab a skunk by the tail. Because it's true. You lift a skunk up by his tail, he can't spray you. But if he hooks any one of those feet on you, he will hit you with both barrels. Number 2, nobody likes skunks. You see one crossing the road, you stop way the hell back there. Don't hit it. That son of a bitch will spray you good. And 2, if you ever find yourself chasing something in the dark into a hollow log or a hollow in the bank, don't go after it. Because if it's a skunk, it will damn well spray you. And one other advice. In the cartoon, there was a skunk named Pepe Le Pew. He was named that for a reason. Let me tell you something. I can tell you this from experience. The smell of skunk piss and the taste of skunk piss is about on the same level. So above anything, avoid getting into it with a skunk. But if you do, get you some tomato juice, take you a long, long scrub in that stuff. You won't be able to see nothing for a while. You won't be tasting nothing or smelling nothing for a while. But at least the stink on your body from that skunk piss will vacate. The other will come later. And of course, you have to keep the name. I'll loan you the name Skunk Boy or Skunk Woman, whichever the case may be. It took about as long to get my taste, smell, and my sight back, about as long as it took me to get rid of that nickname, Skunk Piss, Skunk Boy. So, It ain't bad enough that you can't see, taste, or smell. You gotta run around with that handle. Skunk boy or skunk woman. So do yourself a favor. Take it from me. Skunk piss is something you don't want to mess with. It's not perfume. By no means. You don't want that. It's like drugs. Just say no. You see a skunk? Back away real quietly. Because you see him go pitter patter, pitter patter. You see that tail go up? He gets you with both barrels. It ain't a fun ride. I would just soon be shot out of a cannon as to face another skunk ass. Because it's a battle you can't win. Even if you killed a skunk. He's like a pirate. He figured he's going to die anyway, so he's going to shoot you with both barrels. Well, y'all keep that in mind. Don't be doing no skunk hunting. Leave that to the professionals. Y'all have a good night. I'll catch you in the next one. Good night.